Welcome back to Motorsport Manager. It's time for Dubai. 6th race of the year. We're going to find out if we're going to get our new driver. We have lost our lead by a single point to AMG. Can we get it back? Or are we sort of doomed to spend another year in the WTCR? All of that kind of fun stuff coming up. 12 hours to fix the car. Kai Ebel with a question. Do we want to work with Lucas Auer in the future? Just say that anything can happen. Close but not quite to our record, but... And yes, we've got a rivalry forming between ourselves and AMG, and between myself and Vincent Valieris? Alright. Who do we want to hire, if anybody? Don't think we want these or any of those. We might. That'd be a 14 on the rear jack, only 79 stamina. We may consider that. Not as good as Lagos. Huh, I thought we had more in reserve here than that. I think we had another person here that... Yeah, I know that's weird. In any case, we definitely do want to make this one higher. There we go. And we won't put him out there for this race, but at least we've got a backup now on the rear jack. Got Garut on the front. Why do we have Kazmarzik in on tires? Yeah, I know I didn't do that on purpose. We must have lost somebody who retired or something. Not that big of a deal. We'll just do some switching out. I think I want you on the front jack instead of air because you're going to be a little bit fresher. Another thing is you wouldn't, if you were out there for the last race, you wouldn't have max stamina. So we definitely lost somebody. Okay, so what we definitely want to do is get, let's get Garut out there on that spot. 79, 77, 83. Leave Weber out there. I think Defont in place of Izzo. And I think I'm going to be pretty happy with that. So we do have a backup at each of these. We're a little weak on tire people. So I would like to get some more options there. But overall I think we're going to be okay. And one thing I also notice is you could say that maybe I'm overreaching a little bit with this driver. The amount of money I'm spending is probably not worth quite as much. But we are up to number 3 overall in the sponsors, still dead last in drivers. And that definitely is a disconnect, and I think we have the money. So, car repair is done. What are we looking at in Dubai? Brakes, engine, and spoiler. All vital for this one. Well, our brakes are up. Spoilers are there. I don't think we need any more reliability work. We're going to be working on the spoilers later, not going to get much there. I think throwing the one brake out along with the 2 engines is the move here. So I think whatever little bit of reliability we get, I'll throw it into that brake for now. And then we could put a second set of improved brakes out there if we were to get far enough. But definitely going to focus on the performance. And this would take a long time, so it's probably not going to happen. Just going to put it out there so it's going into something, because we're at 90% across the board on everything we're going to want to use as far as I can tell. So, and in the HQ, 13 weeks on our telemetry center. And here's our contract. Randomized grids. When is that vote coming up? It's going to be coming up before Dubai. And we do not want that to happen. Drivers would draw lots to discover which position they'll qualify in. Hardly a pure display of racing prowess, it must be said. Could spice up the races to no end. Every car having an equal chance of being on pole, the rule change could be supported strongly by smaller teams. And Zabo says, let's sign it. It's time to see how ticked off Pankwit's going to be. Now, we're up to 17 on race management. Very nice. 14 financial and only 12 in loyalty. And that's about to go down. I'm sure. I'm just curious how far that loyalty goes down. It's at 12 and halfway to 13. We're going to sign this deal. 605K per race. Nice bonuses. And Pankowitz, I'm so sorry to do this, but you must go. Signing on fee is 750K, and breaking the contract, 349. And there we are, Zolt Sabo and Jake Hughes, 22 and 24. And we are in position now. Our finances are still going to have a positive without any sponsor bonus, just not nearly as much. It's a joke, an absolute joke, she says. What the hell? You've terminated my contract. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the payoff, but man, this is a stab in the back. Won't be able to look you in the eye again. I really can't blame that. Like, she was under contract for another year and a half. This is a cold-hearted business move, but I think it's necessary. Nice to have those contract talks behind us. Looking forward to my first race. It'll be an absolute honor to be driving for the Timex Racing piece. Hey, learn how to spell. And Lay Diffie says, yes, gonna set us back $7.3 million a year. Met the team and they all seem like a great bunch. Well, isn't that fantastic? And what do you think of the parts? Supposed to be equal driver, but you don't think you're as good. So, okay, we gotta change around the parts now. So Hughes with the better brakes. This is about even. Gearbox is about even. And Hughes also has the better spoiler. Let's give you the better spoiler. There we go. You have the better one here. So there's 3 parts where we're different. There we go. Now 18th and 12th. All right. That figures to be about where we should be. And of course, Szabo's going to start at the back of the pack, 25th in terms of the standings. He's coming in partway through the season. And Pankowitz now listed as free agent, which indeed she is. The 7th ranked driver, a free agent. That's not something you see every day. Okay, and when does our next part get in? About a week. So I think until then we just keep working as we are. Couple scouting jobs coming in. And Poppy Orr went to Zengo Motorsport. We thought about picking her up a couple times, and now one of our rivals does. Logan Hanna, training with video games. I don't see a lot there that interests me. Just not good enough. How about Lucas Auer? He was on our scouting list. And a guy that considering hiring with us. Not that great feedback, but really good everywhere else. Cost per race of $1 million. And my thinking is, pick him up when Hughes is ready to go. I don't foresee, if he was going to come in, wages are important. You probably want near the max. So he's going to be $1 million or a little bit above. Status is pretty important. Doesn't care who pays the buyout clause. So, yeah, about $1 million a race is more than we can really probably afford now. I'm thinking going more in this direction the offseason. I'm going to favorite him because what I'd like to do is promote and then hire him at that point. That would be like the perfect scenario. And they say Martin looking to get out of BRC. Very nice driver. Wasn't interested in us before and still isn't. That's that then. And we definitely need to get some more scouting done. And what I want to do now, I think, and I'm not entirely sure on this, but since we're going for promotion here at this point, it would be nice to hire or scout the ones that are in the series above us. And we have some of them. Because that's the DTM. We are in the WTCR. I think we have everybody here. Either scouted or we're working on them. Yes, we do. So I'd like to scout everybody that's in the DTM. Where we're going to be moving up to, at least in theory. There we go. So if we do go up now, we'll be able to figure all this out. I imagine we'll get most of this done at least by the end of the year. And you can see also with our expanded scouting now we have 4 of them being done at once. So let's move on to getting our new gearbox. Or not. It's time for the new vote. Random grids. It said it would benefit us here. There's 2 for, 3 against. I'm only gonna use 1, but I am gonna vote against it. And the reason I'm only gonna use 1 is just if we promote, it doesn't matter that much what happens. But I'm hoping 1 against is enough, and if it isn't, I'll pay that. If we were to stay down, that's not looking good. But if we were to stay down and then it, ugh. Come on, come back. Oh my. Okay. Yeah, clearly I failed. But even if I had spent more, if I had spent both my votes, it still would have failed. So I couldn't have stopped it. But now we really want to promote, because if we don't, it's going to be a lot more challenging to dominate the tour when you can't just depend on qualifying. So we will have random grids in the WTCR next year. And then only points for the top 5. Just as a purist sort of thing, I don't really like that. Gearbox. And Jake Hughes, one of my contacts, told me there's an open slot at Tondela for a bit of practice. If I could get some quality time, that would really improve our chances. What do you think? $1 million, but they will do better at Tondela. Well, that's the one after Dubai. Given the battle that we're in, I think it's worth it. I think, let's say, sure, let's make you a Tondela expert. Let's spend that $1 million. Then let's just double check what that's going to do for you. And yeah, +2 across the board in Tondela, so he should perform very well there. Should be a great benefit to us. And of course our sponsors, nobody for a long time, basically till the end of the year. And here's our gearbox. And why are you unhappy all of a sudden? Supposed to be equal, but you don't think you are. So we've got the 3 parts that are off-center, and they're off-center enough that I don't think we can make both guys happy. Yeah, and I don't think we can. No, we could build another one like that. That would possibly come later. Okay, so that gearbox is going to be a final part for us, one that we're going to want to get out there. So now what? Do we go for suspension? Do we go for spoiler? And just looks to me like the suspension is going to be the most important, especially the 2 Munich races. So I'm going to go with that first. Plus reliability and plus on the corners. So we'll just get that one real quick. Okay, and we're going to definitely pull the brakes out and work on that gearbox. Now, can we get it for the next race? Alright, so how much do we want? I think I'm going to stick with that. Near the top, but not quite there, and then I can adjust it down as we get closer. Gearbox is not a key part, so I'm not going to worry so much about improving its performance. Keep the performance going into these 2. And then I also want to work on getting a new mechanic. And this would be performance-focused mechanic, but maybe one that has better other stats. That's to go with our new driver. And here's the guy that I came down with. Now, he's got maxed out performance. He's not going to bond with a new driver that quickly, but that's not as important to me because they'll get there eventually. And then he's good in the other areas. Fixing parts, not that important, but obviously concentration is a big thing. He won't be likely to get as many mistakes during a pit stop. Reliability is pretty good. Shouldn't need to use them for that. But then the pit stops is really going to be a nice bonus. So talking to him, and then wants a fair bit of wages. I'm going to try that. Just about 80,000 a race. Definitely willing to give him a long contract. He's the type of guy I wouldn't mind carrying up with me into the higher tier. Wants a signing on fee. We can do that. We'll go ahead and max you out with that and then leave these off. And he's not a very patient guy, so he's either going to like this deal or he's not. We may have a second bite at it, but that's it. So hopefully that will work out for us. Probably get one round back at least before the next race. So far so good, I think. Alright, we are second. Original target was 8th. Report on Dubai, 42 laps. No lap record. Completely dry. Brakes are the key. Super soft and softs. And Griffin Clark likes the deal. So let's sign it. Now, we're getting rid of Barreau 6 months early. We're not going to pay much at all. 837,000. Most of that in the signing on fee. And he's going to work with Szabo. Now he's going to have a soft tires bonus. And then this one is nice. I didn't actually check these ahead of time. I was more concerned with his ratings, but I probably should have checked what his bonuses are. But nonetheless, now we have one decent mechanic and one good mechanic to work with our new good driver. At least above average. Brilliant to have joined you here. Looking forward to removing the car. And we've snapped up Griffin Clark. So we've got new driver, new mechanic, all of that looking excellent. We're up to 8th overall on our car. All of these bars, though, quite high. I think we're definitely higher than 8th when you throw in all the considerations. And here we go, 52%. I think I want to be at about 17 right now. Hopefully getting that new gearbox out for the next race. 20 in performance, 14 reliability. So now we are even better at this section. Scouting and suspension. Wants to improve the design center. Well, we're working on it as fast as we can, the overall improvements. Scouting on Timo Scheider. One of the top drivers, he certainly looks it. And he's a reserve, wow. Wants to join a team in a higher championship. And again, he deserves it. So our new suspension comes in at 379 compared to 347 and just 209. Let's see about another suspension. Well, that's definitely going to be the one. And that's where we're going to stop. So this will be our max suspension. It won't come in until after the race. 600K. And then the spoiler is the only part that we still have to max out. So 5 days to go. We're only at 62%. It's a bit surprising. About halfway there. Yeah, I definitely want to max this out now. I miscalculated that a bit. We're not going to get as high as I want. Still probably high enough to put it out there, though. And our brakes have improved. Bunch more scouting coming in. Pearl Vincent, one of the weakest drivers. Gads. You're terrible. Mauro Engel, one of the better drivers. He's a reserve for AMG. Would be interested in joining us, because he's definitely better than anybody we have. We're going to favor him and consider him in the off-season. Maybe Auer doesn't want to join us. Maybe Auer is too expensive. He's definitely a guy that would be an upgrade, but maybe we'll have better upgrades by then. I could try to bring him in right now for Hughes. I just don't think I want to pull that plug. I don't want to do too much upheaval at once. AMG likely to perform well. Hughes is at 6 points, and Auer says he's coming for Hughes. It's only a matter of time. DG Sport trying to pick up some points. And we have Stephanie Raquelme, or Stephane, excuse me. Another quality driver who would not be interested in us. So it looks like pretty much only the ones who are stuck at reserve on their current teams are particularly interested in making our acquaintance. And let's see how far we got. Yeah, up to 87%. I'd like to get up to 90, so that's not too far off. Let's get that gearbox out there, and if we give it to Hughes, maybe that shuts him up. Yep, Szabo does have the better one here. There we go. And now we're looking at 15th and 17th. Okay. Switch this back to performance for now. A little over another week for that suspension. We can start working on that. Should be able to get the one improved suspension at least out there for the Munich races. We'll be going for our 11th or above. And $1 million to the good. Let's hope that we can make this happen. Now, 41 degrees. Oh my. So hot in Dubai. So hot. Definitely going to want the regular soft tires. Okay, so we're definitely going to be going with Szabo and Svaneborg now for our practice runs. And if we take a look at our setup here, the tires, I think we're going to be doing one super and one regular soft if we finish fairly high in qualifying. So we probably still want to start off with the supers so that we can begin the race strongly. That looks reasonable. And definitely feeling a little different about things is Svaneborg. We'll see who's got the better eye for this track. Well, Svaneborg's going to go out first, but not driving as well. One thing that's interesting about finding all these drivers from other teams is that most of them don't have a specialist reserve driver. They've got an actual, if somebody gets hurt, we're going to plug them in there. And that's sort of a risk-reward thing, but I think by having a cheap reserve driver like Svaneborg, we can afford to throw more money into the main drivers. We just have to hope they don't get lucky and get hurt. Hope we do get lucky, excuse me. Not that it'd be lucky for them to be hurt, but that we get lucky and they don't get hurt. So good comments so far. And it looks like we're going to make at least level 2 trim. Probably not level 3. But it may not be out of the question. Okay, we want higher speed corners with the ballast for Szabo. It's a pretty long track, but we just have, with his 11 and her 15, we just got better feedback, which is another thing that Szabo brings to the table. Go conserve on the tires. They are going to heat up. There's level 1 race trim. And it's close. I want to try to gun for one change and then level 3. We may very well not make it. Wants more responsive handling as well. It does get up to 3rd, so 3rd and 4th. Some of the cars on soft tires, but still, that's some nice pace that we're showing here early on in practice. Okay, let's slow this down and come in. Let's make this our one stop. We'll make whatever changes we need to, but then hold off until qualifying round. 4-4 and 4-3. Not particularly thrilled with that kind of performance. And Svaneborg didn't have anything negative to say because it's pretty good, right at 93%. So let's go this way. That's probably a bit much. Let's just see if these make anything, because it's already great. Let's just stay there. Make more adjustments again the next time out. And here is Szabo. Only at 75%. He said we're concentrating too much on the low-speed corners. Let's push that understeer higher. Yeah, let's try it about there and then a little bit more speed. Give that a whirl. You're going to spend a bit more time in here, but you're making more changes. Okay, so let's just see how this works. And we could end up being just shy again, but we should be reasonably close to getting that level 3. And unless we hit the final line badly, like we don't get any extra time from any of the laps right at the end, I think we're going to make it. 3-7, that's not good. Other drivers starting to record faster times. Svaneborg likes the ballast change. That's always a good sign. And Szabo says, "Why did you change the way I told you to? I wanted you to make it better, not make it the way I said to make it worse." Yeah, well. Okay, so looks like last full lap for Svaneborg, and then we'll get whatever the bonus is. Szabo, you should make it through another one too, and both of them are not gonna have a great deal of time between when this runs out and when they actually finish. And I think that's going to make it really close. We could just miss getting the level 3 race trim, just like we just missed getting level 2 in our last one. Hoping not. Level 3 would really help us. Liking the speed balance better, so we did make some good changes. Svaneborg's gonna be or Sabo rather, gonna be the last one. We got about 40 seconds. I think we're gonna make it though. There it is, level 3. So that's a good feeling when you basically get the strategy right, and you're gonna get a nice bonus from it. And then 5th and 7th overall in practice, after being predicted about 10 spots lower than that exactly for the race. All of that is excellent. Alright, so we're sitting here third of a second, 0.3, 0.4 seconds off the pace. Of course, Shader up in second, but everybody was blabbing about Auer, who's down in 11th, but also on slower tires. You can see there aren't really a lot, there's a few, but there's not a lot of drivers who were on super softs and were slower than us. So, not totally sure where we're going to end up. Find out soon. Yeah, so not really a whole lot of interest here. Another better on our team. Philippi wishing they gave up points for practice. Well, that's why it's called practice, buddy. We're not there yet. Let's see about the qualifying. Got pretty reasonably high hopes for this. Super softs for Szabo. And for both drivers. Yuck. Okay, boy, do we ever botch this. We've got time to fix it, though. Not a lot of time. But yeah, it's going to be super hot. But the track's just going to get faster. Okay, so we're okay, and we went to very poor. So we wanted to be on the low speed end. On the other hand, we went from poor to great, and from good to great. So we went in the right direction. Probably a little more top speed. Let's try just a bit less understeer, I think. Yeah, okay. So we're going about there. Let's try that. Yeah. Right about there, I think. Just to get these off a little bit so we can see if they're better or worse there, and then knock the cornering in place. That's the goal. And then here, 93 to 94. Now, we went from good to great. So maybe try just a little bit lower speed. We want to keep the handling right where it is. And then we want to go back more on the acceleration side here. Yeah, and then this is not really in the right spot. But let's nail the others. Nail the others, then we know what to do with the handling. Okay. And Hughes still looking crap for form, so hopefully that changes. Quick come out and back in. Of course, we're not going to have Pankowitz's bonus for the sweeter spots for qualifying, but you can't have it all. .53 and 3.6, not terrible, not the one we were expecting, just not what we'd like. And we come through the faster portion of the track. And just over 2 minutes. Okay, we're up to 95%. We might be able to get away with one more. It's really close. See, that would take us down probably to about 3.5. Yeah, I think we can do it. So if we need it, we're going to try it. And I think we do need it with Szabo. We were okay. And then very poor. This is okay. And then, like, I probably want even a little bit more low speed. We hit the speed balance. Let's see, poor. So maybe a little more low speed, and then we're going to need to come back with some oversteer. So we definitely want to come back to about there. Let's try that where it is. Yeah. Stay on the same tires. Just go back out again. Now, what about Hughes? Close. 97%. We were good. And then great. And then still great. Okay, so I want to try... right in between the two? I don't think I want to go around again with him. I'm going to hold him. So that way, you know, Szabo can run around and do his thing and make whatever adjustments. Hughes can go out first, second time. Maybe go out a little bit early. Boy, his form is not winning us any awards, is it? 2.5, 2.6, 2.4. And when do we want to go out? Well, let's go ahead and give it a shot around now. Let's make that adjustment. Nope, nope, nope. Good. Yes, let's just come back a little bit to the high speed. Just that little bit. And in comes Szabo, who's looking good. Up to 97. Handling is off. It hasn't been on totally yet. Poor. Great. Good. And great. Okay, so a little bit more to the understeer side. But I don't quite want to go that far. If I go like this... then nudge that back in. That's perfect there. That's about as good as we're going to get. And then I switch here. That's 20 seconds behind. I'm going to say that's enough. Let's go with it. Especially since, yeah, his form is jumping. Let's use that form while we've got it. Slowing down to normal speed. So Hughes probably not going to look that spectacular. I'm hoping for Szabo here. We've got all kinds of time. I almost blew that, but I didn't. And now we're just waiting for Szabo. Dancing around a lot there, but I think we got it. Yep. Perfect for both. Okay, Hughes at 6.3 now. So his form is up. Szabo at 8.1. We could be looking at some strong times here, potentially. And Giovinardi in 11th, within half a second. So there is not a huge gap among the top cars here. And Hughes a quarter of a second off the pace. A little slower than we'd like. Szabo closer at 0.18. Will we do better in the later sections? Boy, Hughes certainly did. He's ahead of the pace now. And so is Szabo, just not as far ahead as Hughes. Second. Just barely second. Very nice. Where is Szabo going to finish? Ooh, boy, he really tanked it. So our new driver, yeah, lost half a second to the time of Decker right in that last segment. But Hughes didn't. So Jake Hughes basically saying, hey, I know you like this new driver and everything, but I was very close to getting you points for the pole, and he's, yeah. He's not getting it done. He was almost half a second back. Very interesting stuff, but bottom line is Hughes got us our money, which is going to be more important now. And we're moving on to the race. Stunning lap from Claire Decker. And they're cheering for Hughes because they say Decker is boring, bad for the sport. It's quite difficult to make overtakes in Dubai, indeed. Okay. So the question is, do we go aggressive or not with Szabo? Because he's right in the middle of the pack. Obviously, we're going to go aggressive with, well, I mean, super soft and race trim. That's our only things that we have. We're going to go with the race trim and the tire changes for Hughes. We didn't quite get there with the setups. Oh, we did. 99%, just the speed balance is still off. Just that tiny bit. Because all we need is a tiny bit more top speed. So if we did that, I don't think that could hurt more than it helped. Let's stick that on Szabo. But then 42 laps. And I just don't think there's any use in going with two softs. This track, I mean, you'd like to go with two supers, but it's just a little bit too long for that. So I think we definitely got to go with one super and one soft. And then we're at 97%. We were at good, great, great, great. Yeah, we never quite got the cornering. I don't like being at 97, but it's what we have. So we're just going to stick with that. And yeah, given how hot it is, we're going to push only for a very brief period, like maybe half a lap. And then we're going to have to drop down. It's going to be really a tight thing to see. Right there with Decker at 6. Auer is right behind along with Huff. And then an 8 for Szabo back in row 7. Okay, so Hughes it is. I'm going to guess, since I'm not going as aggressive on the tires. Whoa, boy, that was a bad start. Yep, but still getting second here, so that's not too terrible. Szabo still in 13th, Hughes in 3rd. Falling behind Lucas Auer is no shock. You can see Szabo working on moving up. as of course is our tire temps. 6 for Hughes, 8 for Szabo. Can't be unhappy about the way they're driving at the start. Hughes trying to hold off Mato Homola, and boy did that not happen. But has a decent gap on the rest. Szabo in 12th, so he's holding his own, but that's about it. And tire temperature not hitting as high as I thought here on push, so I just want to stick with push as long as I can. Maybe I can get through part of this next lap this way. So Hughes dropping to 4th, but had almost a second there on Nagy in 5th. Szabo up to 10th. Made a nice move there, it looks like, getting by 3 different people. And Hughes, you know, again, he's right there with the leaders. He has not fallen off a great deal. Nagy right behind. And now it's definitely time to go neutral. Might have overshot it a bit on that. Szabo back in 11th. So he's in the pack. But he has moved up a couple spots. Not a spectacular beginning, but it could have been worse. I think we'll ride neutral throughout the entirety of this lap and then see what happens. Can afford to burn a little bit of tire. Homola locks up, Suri locks up. 2.5 off the lead for Hughes still. And he's looking like he's maybe faster than Homola, but then almost getting passed by Nagy, and Szabo getting irritated with Homola, or Berman rather. And then looking to lose a spot here to Suri. Well, manages to hold it off. And there's Hughes trying to get to the inside. I was going to back off the tires here, but let's see what happens. Gets by Homola. Yeah, let's switch back to conserve now. Szabo, drive-through penalty for hitting... Okay, switch back to medium for you for the moment then. Hitting Berman. So, yeah, our new driver not tearing it up here. He's going to have a lot of work for himself in this race. But Hughes up to 2nd now, past Decker. And once his tires get back under control, I'm going to back off the fuel for him and see what happens there. And here's Szabo, serving his stint in the pit. And then, yeah, I wanted to back off to high on the fuel, though. That was a big mistake. So we'll go high and, yeah, high and conserve. So that's part of the reason why Hughes did so well, is I was flooring the accelerator. I normally back off to high in lap 3. So we could be getting a little bit interesting here on the fuel. It's Lucas Auer in 1st, then Hughes, then Decker. Alright, and let's check it here. 1.56. And I think I can go up to neutral on the tires if I need to. Meanwhile, Szabo 23rd ahead of only Morbidelli, who also had to come in. So I'm just going to have to hope that he can work his way back up. He is not doing the best. He is not having a particularly great debut. He's driving well, though, which Hughes can't say. But Hughes is still pulling away from Decker. So staying in second, right back of Lucas Auer, that's not bad. Of course, we don't want Auer to win. If we were to end the race here, we've got, they're extending away from us. And Auer would just barely take the overall lead away from Hughes. Where is their other driver? Shader all the way back in 17th. Alright. Yeah, we're not gaining much back. Going back to medium here for sure. I think we're going to gain about 1.4 to 1.5 laps back, which basically means that Hughes needs to sit right where he is on medium for the rest of the race, and Szabo needs to do that for most of it. Szabo is catching up to the other cars. Question is, how efficiently can he get through the traffic? Does he have any real chance at getting any points for us? Decker only a second back. So Decker and Hamola staying close. And we got a bit of a gap back to Nagy. I'll go ahead and speed this up a little. Probably going to want to go till about lap 20 here. Just going to stay hot and get faster. That's basically all we're doing here. Take a look at Szabo. Not driving quite as well, but still doing pretty good. He's coming up on his first couple of cars that we're hoping he's going to pass quickly. Having a bit of trouble with that, though. Prefer not to burn any fuel here, but starting to get around there. Yeah, and I think the straightaway is really the only decent spot to do it. Does get by Nagy there. Back off to conserve. So I'm going to go ahead and let him go high for just a bit. Berman cut a corner, and looks like we penalized for it. That's 10 seconds. And getting that nice move to the inside is Szabo, and then we'll move him back to medium. And Hughes having some trouble now holding off Decker. But is managing to get it done. Several seconds now back of Auer. Looks like our fuel's still tracking the same, so I don't dare get aggressive with that at all. And of course, several more laps before we come in. There's Decker trying to duck to the inside. Looks like Hughes has just enough to hold him. But having said that, let's go neutral for just a bit. Use up what we can. Try to maybe pull away. 6 seconds now past Hour. Looks like Hour wins the race, and then we've just got to try to keep Hughes in second and get whatever points we can out of Szabo. If that's any. I mean, he's still 20th. He's 10 spots away. Several seconds back of accomplishing anything. Here we come into the straightaway. Can he get by here? Maybe. Yeah, just almost there, not quite. And now we've got to switch back to conserve. So he's having a little bit more trouble here with Chris Richard. Oh, but he made it. He's up to 9.5 in his driving form. Every spot he gains is less time he's going to lose. Trying to duck to the inside here. Looks like he might make it. Oh, didn't quite. This is where he made the pass last time. Nope. So he's trying to work his way forward, but having some trouble with it. And Hughes is driving much better now, pulling away from Decker. Now Szabo, perfect driving, and again, just can't quite get around. That media observation about it being hard to do overtakes here appears to be proving itself, but there he is up to 18th now. And that's about, oh, he lost it again. Doggone it. 8.5 to 9 seconds it is behind a spot in the top 10, which is not that far. But, oh, that would have been nice to hang on to. So Hughes appearing to be comfortable in second place. Let's go neutral again. See if Szabo can find a way by between now and the end of the lap. He's still at 9.5. There we go. That's promising. Up to 18th, and DuPont's going to have to repair. So now, if he can hold this, we're going to go back to conserve here. But if Szabo can hold this, it's up to 17th. So that would be nice. And let's see, the gap between our drivers, yeah, 20-some seconds. So can pit them both in the same lap, which I think is going to be the next one. Hughes now a few seconds ahead of Mola, who's ahead of Decker. Szabo up to 16th as another driver pits. Yeah, I don't think we can go around one more. I think we've got to come in now. So we're going to switch to softs. Estimate 6 seconds for Hughes. And for Szabo, what do we say? Probably 12? Yep. Of course, we're always sticking with balance these days. Don't even really have to think about it anymore. Near the halfway point of the race. Hughes will lose some time. Hamola's going to repair. It's another bit of good news, especially for Szabo. And Hughes comes out in 13th. Oh, looks like he may make it up to 12th. Let's keep him up in neutral. And no mistakes there, 11.7. Let's go neutral there. 8.7 driving, 5.4 for Hughes. Hughes back in 12th, leads among cars who have come in. Now a lot of these on fresher, or more worn rather, soft tires going to be sticking out there for a while. But the other super softs shouldn't be staying out that long. Szabo all the way back in 21st. Again, it does not look like we have any fuel to burn. In comes Mortara. Hughes up to 11th. Looks like Szabo going to try to get at least one spot here past Berman. Please? Maybe? Yes, up to 20th. Mortara coming out on super softs, I don't know about that. That's going to be touchy, whether or not they can finish. And in comes Lucas Auer now. Having gotten halfway there. And Hughes getting well past Decker, but Lucas Auer up in 6th, now 5th. After having made the stop. Here's Hughes trying to get by Shader. One side and then the other, and I think we got this one. Anything that's bad for Shader is good for us. Szabo just sort of waiting in the back. We're going to have to switch back to conserve here. And Shader didn't like being bypassed, apparently. So a lot of cars pitting, but then coming out ahead of Szabo. On the other hand, he's got open track in front of him, so if he can drive reasonably fast, maybe he bumps himself up enough to get some points later. Still don't see any reason why Hughes doesn't finish second here, because he's still driving with a bunch of cars who have not come in. Not going to catch Lucas Auer, but should catch everybody else. I think we're going to have a little bit of fuel to spare now, but not a lot. Looks like we're catching that up pretty good. Zabo pretty quickly gaining ground on Nagy. So that's definitely the place where I'm going to want to spend his tires and, if I have to, fuel. While Hughes is just sort of hanging out, we'd like to make a pass by Philippi and Georgi and Giovanardi, but we're waiting on that. There's Martin into the pits. And up to 7th. Gradually making the way back up. There's Hughes trying to get to the inside. Had 6th, then I think he's going to lose it again. I thought about gunning for it, and maybe I should have. Just looked like he really had a bad turn there after he got the pass. Maybe he went too hard for it and let him overrun or something. Right there behind Philippi. Maybe next lap around. Alright, let's go for it here. Come on. That's about all the fuel I can afford to use, but it didn't get there. And now we might as well switch to conserve, because Philippi's coming in anyway. Here's Zabo, who's not gaining as quickly as he was, but is still gaining. Just over 2 seconds, and he's not driving as well, which is sort of the why. Still a little ugly to see him back in 20th, because he should be better than that. Of course, you take away his drive-through penalty, and he would be significantly higher. Philippi up to 5th, or rather, Hughes up to 5th as Philippi pits. Georgi's got to be coming in soon. So does Giovanardi. Nagy will be eventually. There's no way he can last the whole race on one set. And there's Zabo coming in not that far ahead of Philippi. May want to use some here. Philippi is going to be coming up strong. Faster tires. And probably can finish on those tires. Lucas Auer going wide. Interesting. Drops back. Oh, drops back a lot. Hughes is now the de facto race leader. I don't know if we can hold it. Loses another spot to Benani, at least for the moment. But yeah, that's a big bad turn there. It's not a huge gap in time, but there's cars in between. And Philippi crashes. Well, so much for worrying about that. Suri with some sort of penalty. Didn't catch what that was. So after the difficult start, we're getting some more positives here. Georgi is going to be going in. Giovinardi is going to be going in. So Hughes mostly just stay ahead of everybody else. Oh my, Giovinardi is going to be repairing. Let's see what all this does to Szabo. Matter of fact, let's go neutral now. Oh my, okay, yeah, go high. You've got some fun traffic here. See if you can get through it. Give it one more turn. Come on. Oh, come on. Well, they're going to go in anyway. Okay, switch back to medium. Go and sit there behind Nagy. We're going to get ahead of Nagy to 14th. This could get interesting. We could get some points there. And, yeah, Shader's going to come in and pit, who is just ahead of Auer. I don't like our chances of beating Auer, but the fact of the matter is his tires are getting worse. So I think this is one of those where I want to wait. Yep, and Shader's got to repair. So more repairs in this race than the last race, which is interesting. Szabo is all of a sudden in 10th. So at the moment, we would retake the lead by a few points. Hughes extends a little bit in first place. Not enough points to get into the top 20 yet for Szabo. Hughes only driving at 4. And that gap to Lucas Auer is important, but right now it's holding fairly steady. Okay, now it's going down. I think he's pretty much even on fuel. I'm not going to use any yet. If this gap gets lower, I'm going to switch to neutral on the tires. Right now I just want to conserve for later. Hopefully Auer burns himself out passing us. There we go. Now we're up to first. And Nagy with just a real quick pit stop to get tires. Comes out in third. So Szabo in 10th. And got to go back to conserve now. Szabo may not be able to get any higher than that. He's got Raquelme chasing. But given the way he started, that would be okay. It'd just be nice if we could get more points out of him. Either way, yeah. We would go from a point down to being up 7 points. And that's on Hughes. That's not on Szabo. We spent all that money. And at least for this race, it's not really paying off. And it's still close to 4-second lead. The longer we can afford to just drive cautiously, the better. 10 laps to go. Szabo's probably got a little bit of fuel to burn. But I don't know that we can do anything with it. Certainly not until Georgi burns out those tires a little more, so I think I just want to conserve and hang out behind. And Hughes is driving better now. Szabo's down, but Hughes is up to 6. But ours still charging. Well, it was charging at the moment. Be nice to do something more with Szabo, but really at the moment it's all about, I speed this up a little bit, it's all about Hughes maintaining that lead. 9 to go. His best lap of the race. Nice time to have it. Yeah, I think this really just comes down to a couple of mistakes. And Szabo is a driver that does not have good focus. That's his weak point. The final sector of his qualifying lap, and then making that crash earlier into Berman. So we've sort of hopefully seen the worst parts of him, and we'll see that happen not a whole lot. Otherwise, it could end up proving to be a bad investment. Boy, almost 5-second lead now. Doesn't look like Hughes is going to have to push at all to hold this. One bad turn by Lucas Auer making a big difference. You've got to be in position to take advantage of it, and Hughes getting faster with each lap now. Debating whether Szabo should make a run at Georgi here, and I'm just thinking not yet. Claire Decker back up to third over Nagy, and then they switch back again. Boy, Szabo just crashed his form there down to 2.4. That's not exciting. Now we're just seeing, I think a lot of what we're seeing is just the more durable tires that Hughes has. Because once you get the super softs worn out a fair amount, they are just not very fast. Szabo, it'd be nice if you would find your form again so I could contemplate going after this position. I think Hughes just cruises home from here the last 5 laps. I'm just going to ride with Szabo and see if he figures anything out. Not actually fading that far in terms of distance. If he could just pick up his driving again. I've got a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of fuel to give him and some tire. Holding right there though. Oh, there it pops back up. That's not great, but it's better. Now Georgi pulling away. Yeah, Raquelme close enough behind. I'm just going to switch up to neutral here. Morbidelli going wide. That's further down. And Hughes just easily winning this one right now. Down to 2 laps. Oh, a couple drivers pitting. Well, let's go up to high for a bit. See if we can make up any ground here. Don't dare go any further than that, but Szabo up to 8th. Hopefully that gives me enough to hold off for Kelmy, Auer, etc. Auer went into pit. Oh boy. I didn't even notice that that was one of the drivers. Now that's big. Auer up to 9th, because they're not going to get hardly any points now. Be really nice to hold that off, but we don't have anything else we can give here for Szabo. No fuel, no tires. And Hughes wins. Can Szabo make this happen? We're going around the final turns here, and I think he's gonna. Hours faster, but very nice. 1st and 8th. And unlike last race where AMG just managed the tires beautifully, they were able to get through the whole race on one set. This time, they did not show the best judgment. And we benefit from that. So, hiring Szabo didn't get us much directly, but we do seize control of the series again at the halfway point, so I can't complain about that. Mortara gave a drive-through penalty. Drive-through penalty for Szabo, who finishes 8th. And for Suri, who finishes 11th. And for Berman, who finishes 12th. And all the way down here, our fastest lap for DuPont and pole for Bonus. Or pole for Decker, excuse me. And there's Mr. Jake Hughes. 15 seconds ahead of Mortara, 16 and change ahead of Nagy. Well, we were all bemoaning his slide after the first couple of wins, and then third, and then down. And now, guess who's back in the winner's circle? Jake Hughes with a solid grip on first. And let's see, Szabo gets a few points, moves up to 21st, and his should probably gradually move up the field. Be interesting to see where he ends at the end of the year. But yeah, we were a point down, and now they got like 2 points out of that race. We have a 26-point lead on AMG. Then Ivan Mueller, W Racing, and Comtoyu in a pack from 3rd to 5th. But definitely the promotion story is right back on. Chris Richards said thought we could have won it today. I don't think so. No improvements for our drivers. That's a little bit unfortunate. Top 10 result, boost marketability. Obviously a bigger boost to marketability there. And then Szabo turns in an overall 7 in his first race, yet finishes only 8th because of the bad turn. 5.6 for Hughes, pretty much right on his average. He hasn't done significantly better than that since the first couple races of the year, so that's a solid result for him. And we make 800K. So yeah, we're in a solid position. We wouldn't want to get anybody hugely more expensive. Probably would need, we're close to the point maybe we need to be in a higher tier to invest significantly more. Now they still say our drivers are last. That's unfortunate. And Tondela is next. So I think we've got the Tondela Munich alternating things going into the second half of the year. And we're feeling pretty darn good about the fact that we are back on top. So the era of Szabo and Hughes will continue with the second half of the season. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody. More Motorsport Manager coming up soon.